everyone. This presentation today is an introduction to autism and neurodiversity in an effort to help communities become more autism aware. And I am with the Mid-Michigan Autism Association, which is a local nonprofit. We were founded in 2008 and we're made up of parents and professionals who want to provide a better understanding of autism and resources and information to our local community. We are an autism-driven organization, but we're not autism-specific. So although we were founded around the needs for autism and autism spectrum disorders, we aim to support all families and individuals with special needs in our community. And we do a lot of community support services. So we provide families with information, services, social gatherings, and educational opportunities. And what we're presenting to you today is in our effort to work with communities to become more autism aware and work to increase inclusive spaces across the Mid-Michigan community. During this conversation, think about who are you? Do you have a personal connection to autism? Do you have a personal connection to disability that brings you here, that makes you interested in receiving this type of training? What is the previous experiences or training you've had supporting individuals with differing needs, not just autism? And what is it that you're hoping to learn today? So be thinking about those questions, thinking about where your connection is to disability and ability levels throughout today, and hopefully you can come away with a little bit more understanding of how to be more inclusive in your day-to-day interactions, but also in the jobs that you're doing and the services that you're providing to our community. So I want to begin by talking about what neurodevelopmental disorders are. So autism spectrum disorder is just one of a variety of neurodevelopmental disorders, and these are a group of disorders that are related to impairments in growth and brain functioning and development. And all of these neurodevelopmental disorders have impairments in personal relationships, social connections, academic, occupational functioning, job functioning, and they often co-occur with each other. They have a lot in common. And so in addition to autism spectrum disorders and social pragmatic communication disorders, there's attention and concentration disorders like ADHD. There's intellectual, developmental, and language disorders. There are learning disorders, dyslexia, for instance, and then motor movement coordination disorders and tic disorders. These are all under the umbrella of neurodevelopmental disabilities, and they have a lot in common in terms of the strengths and weaknesses and challenges that these individuals face. So within these kits, all of the items in this kit are designed to help address one of the areas of challenges that individuals with autism have, but I'm also going to try to help you understand how the items in this kit can support you interacting with a variety of other populations. So sensory challenges, this is the easiest place to start, and I think these are the most obvious items in the kit. So we've got a pair of noise-canceling headphones and a pair of glasses here. And these things, if you take a look, headphones reduce sound, sunglasses reduce light. Other things you can do are, if you get a call, approach with lights and sirens off. Enter the home one at a time, send somebody in to assess the situation and understand we don't want to overwhelm somebody and having people with all of their equipment, their gear, their badges, lots of conversations. That's going to make your jobs more difficult. So thinking about having a slow, calm approach into the home. Look for behavioral signs of distress, people covering their ears, shying away, squinting, being withdrawn, and potentially offer one of these items to them. It could also be helpful for somebody who, say, is under the influence of drugs. Maybe they're kind of having some difficulty processing lights, processing sound. So be offering those to individuals when you think there is a sensory issue they're having that can help to reduce the stress and just make your job a little easier. And then thinking about offering the items based on what you see. Don't go in with the whole kit and provide that whole kit because you're going to have people looking around, pulling things out, and being a distraction. So just grab a couple of items based on what we talk about today and be thinking about what are 2 or 3 things that I can bring in with me if I know that I'm going out to a call for somebody, maybe coming out of a seizure, somebody who is suffering from an overdose, somebody with a developmental disability. And then there's also some things to support communication in here. So thinking about individuals who are non-native English speakers who may be deaf, for example, and we'll get into that a little bit more. So we've got 2 things here to help with the sensory challenges. Communication challenges, like I just said, individuals with autism do have social communication deficits. These are not necessarily deficits with language and understanding and expression, but using that language to communicate needs and interests. But it can also be that individuals with autism do have a language delay or language deficits. About 30% of individuals with autism are going to have a language delay of some kind. And so we've got items in this kit that can support communication. So we have communication boards. These are picture boards that have a variety of things that are helpful for fire EMS. We also have one for police. And these are things that you can use to communicate non-verbally, use pictures to support, pictures plus language pointing. A lot of individuals with developmental disabilities use picture communication systems at home, at school. So these are things that many people will be familiar with. It can also help if you have an individual who's having difficulty speaking. You can ask them yes/no questions and they can point to the yes/no, they can spell things out. But because that's not always the most efficient, we also have whiteboards for people. So maybe if you're not sure somebody's understanding or hearing you and you don't have any sign language knowledge, you can use a whiteboard to write out your questions. Somebody can use a whiteboard to communicate back with you. Some individuals with autism may prefer this to speaking. Even if they have the language, it might be a lot easier and less stressful for them. And then often folks who are non-native English speakers may be more comfortable reading and writing than they are speaking. So this can also help you interacting with individuals who may have other language fluency and their English may not be as good at communicating in high stress situations. So you've got these picture boards. In order for these picture boards to work, you need to know what's on them. Where are the items? What are the questions? What are the limitations of this? So it's something where you need to spend some time getting to know your kit, getting to know what's on these boards. Which one do I need? Where exactly are the questions I can ask? And how would I use this? So you really need to spend some time getting to know your kit, maybe in between calls while you've got a minute. Be looking at that kit. So I appreciate your time today. From the Mid-Michigan Autism Association, I just wanted to say thank you so much for working to create a more inclusive and safe place for our community. Thank you so much.